Okay. Framing good. Could be a little bit better. Hey, Wally, you were first. I'm so bummed out when things like that happen. When I was sitting down in my chair, I knocked everything over and my webcam came disconnected. Okay. Is it really a leash live if there aren't any problems? It's just like the Girl Man's podcast. Something has to go wrong. Although, I think last week we were okay. Well, no, because I think Atticus was creating problems in that one. I did all my due diligence. I checked to see if there were any furry beings hiding in my sweaters. Nobody was there. Ugh. It is bop 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 time. I hope that I feel bad because all of you guys asked for thumbs up for the people that were waiting. And Quinn, I'm not sure what you mean. I am going to be telling nothing but the truth and using all the proper context. I asked you guys to give me thumbs up over there. And y'all did. And then I ended up having to scrap that one. You're here for the outfits. Thank you. Not only that, I need everybody to tweet at Ohora, or are they called Vanity Table? I tried their nail wraps because I just can't do my nails. And I also have like super rounded nails. So like the jamberry shit doesn't work on me. But I tried these and I got these done this afternoon. This is a dress. Thank you. So the legs will go back up. Yeah, I just have to remind you guys. I'm bad at reminding you guys and asking for it. So, Alicia, thumbs up for technical difficulties. That is good when you get your favorite number. I love signs from the universe like that. Let's see. Before I get too into it, because there will be people who see this in the playback. In fact, there are going to be people I've noticed because my camera quality is so high. There are people who see this and think that this is like a regular main channel video. And then they're like, why does it take so long to actually get into the subject matter? And so I've gotten into the habit. It's not a habit. I write it down every time. Just trying to remind you guys that this is a public live event. This is a conversation. So things might seem noisy, for one, disjointed. We may go on tangents. We're going to talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. I just checked my timestamp to be like, have I been in this long enough to where I can say words like hell? Like, I don't know if you guys know how monetization works with timestamps and all that, but oh yeah, I can't do nails. That's why I was looking for desperately looking for something that would work for me. Actually, I've talked to Rachel about possibly doing a collab one day. Let's see. So this is a public live event. I'm really excited because I told you guys that this was something I wanted to give a go on a weekly basis. At the beginning, I was like, let's try this for now until I have enough free time to give you 2 main channel videos a week. Let's do this for now. And then it happened and it was like, that was kind of awesome. Like, I'm not trying to talk myself up, but like I had a really good time and my audience seemed to have a pretty good time. And relative in ways, relative to a main channel video, it's easier. And I love kind of having something more interactive with you guys. I love it. Like, I'll talk about my Patreon later. We always do. But like, if you are a patron, you know that like, I have more fun when I'm having these conversations with you guys. So I appreciate you guys being here so much. I really mean that. I have to say right out the gate, said it in the other video that we were all hanging out in, but absolutely no hate whatsoever. And that goes for no matter what side of the fence you're on when it comes to this. If you could feel free to be critical of anybody. You can be critical of me, Rachel, Gabbie, anybody involved, your mom, I don't care, but don't be nasty. Don't be hateful. If you are nasty and hateful, you will be kicked. If you say anything that is questionable, you will be timed out. And you know, I hope, well, I was going to say, I hope you guys can understand that, but I think that the audience that I like appreciates that, doesn't just accept that, but appreciates. Hey, yep, you will get kicked. We have no problem kicking nasty people. So yeah, I always have to pin these because, just to be quite honest with you, leash is a little too booby for these plunging necklines. And I might as well just say that, just kind of to give a content warning. It's interesting because it's not the sort of stuff that we typically should give, that I typically like have to try to remember to give content warnings for. But I am going to be watching / listening to these Instagram stories again. I listened to them last night and I immediately got an anxiety attack. So just kind of content warning, just honestly, surely because of strong language that I consider abusive. There was somebody who said something earlier in this chat. If you're still in here, you were involved. You were involved in the situation last summer. Guys, don't say anything regarding that. But these stories, when I was watching them, some of the ways she spoke to Rachel, and I'll probably point it out, reminded me too much of how she spoke to me on the phone. And then, of course, she just took it to another level that thankfully I'd never experienced. But Jenna Solomita, I don't know where that came from, but that is, I hadn't thought about that. So yeah, just content warning that I'm going to be playing these Instagram. I'm not on like Streamlabs or anything where I can like give you a window. So I'm probably just going to be like, here we go, got some notifications on my phone. But just, I don't know. And just so you guys know, I'm going to let this be a long podcast if the conversation ends up going. I will say I haven't even read most of the DMs that I've gotten because you guys were just going off in my mentions and in my DMs. Like, do you guys know, have you seen what's been going on with Gabbie? Have you seen these Instagram stories, blah, blah, blah. And at first I just really didn't want to. Rachel just says, oh, wow. I sent her the thumbnail for this live. So I guess she didn't realize that I have her name in the thumbnail. And so now she knows. But shoot, what was I saying? That this reminded me, somebody help my 35-year-old brain. Before I need to put my phone on do not disturb for sure. Yeah, some of the things reminded me a little too much. Oh, you guys were in my DMs, and it's not, I really didn't to like, I really just wanted to be like, really, like, whatever's going on with Gabbie, I don't care. But it became so big and so many people were reaching out to me about it that I finally decided to look into it. And I was so disturbed that I was like, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about this. And sadly, I'm sorry if this makes any noise. I just want to get you guys closer to me. Sadly, first I did want to say this. If there are any stands in the audience right now, and I feel like there's got to be at least one of you who are in here being silent or just keeping it respectful, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than anyone in this conversation. Not to slight the people who support me, but I do think that takes a really big person, and it's just not behavior we're used to seeing, and so we're used to judging you. So if I say something negative about the stands, I'm not talking about you if you're being respectful. But yeah, my Twitter started going off with just the most heinous language. What I found to be the most disturbing was the way in which the stands wanted me to be afraid. And I think that's disturbing on a level different from just like, hey, you're an obsessed bitch or whatever, like the usual stuff. To be told, I had a bunch of people saying stuff like, and I didn't even like express any fear. I think I said something like, Gabbie Hanna, stop. Didn't tag her at all, but all of them were all in my mentions saying things like, ooh, what, you scared? And I was particularly disturbed by one tweet from somebody, don't go finding these people, you guys. I'm just, but there was one tweet that had a person that was like panic crying. Like the image itself was disturbing. It kind of reminded me of like last summer with the like that weird account, if you know what I'm talking about. It was like the person was panic crying, and the person said, "You're shaking in your boots." And that's when I was like, is this it? Like I'll just, before I get into like the stories, I'll tell you guys that like I was really disturbed last night because I've believed for a long time, even up until yesterday, maybe today, I don't know. I have truly believed that despite all of these mishaps and problematic behavior, I have believed Gabbie when she talks about believing that she's good or wanting to be good, just having this like this desire to be a good person. But at the same time, like when you project this sort of attitude and behavior towards people, it started with Rachel, then I believe Angelica, and now I hear Evangelina Scog, but in my opinion, but this level of abusive language, then I started to see that reflected in how her stands were talking to me. And I think that's a really important takeaway, because if she had a way of handling these things in a way that was respectful, or at least just decent, then I think her fans would follow suit. So what I saw was a reflection of that. I told her on the phone that I think that her fans' behavior is a reflection of her. And if for any stans who don't like me, she did not like that I said that. She did not like that I compared her to her fans. And so that should tell you something. But we've already talked about how she mobilizes her fans and weaponizes them and all that. But it was just very disturbing to me last night, to have like scores of people speaking to me this way, and to realize that it was in response to somebody they love. So that's how I've been dealing. Yeah, I got a pretty bad panic attack listening to it. Like I said, partially because it reminded me of how she spoke to me, partially just because it was just so abusive that I've never seen anybody on the internet. I don't know if I've seen anybody on the internet talking to another person like this. This is some schoolyard fighting words bullshit. And so like that triggered something in me. And I don't use that word often. And thankfully I'm feeling fine now. But I definitely knew that this was something that we wanted to talk about, just because I can't keep up with all the messages I was getting anyway. It's fine. I decided to turn off Twitter, turned it off, just like stop checking on it. So let's see what I have for you guys. So I'm telling Jake, love you, podcasting now. I shared with you guys his emote. So I told them about it. No, I'm trying to show you guys. And instead it's trying to make me send myself a super. And so I checked. So I'm going to play the Instagram stories. And honestly, what I plan to do is just, for everything that she says, I'm probably going to pause and give my thoughts on. I think that stuff is important. And there's Jake's beautiful face. I'm hoping that my conversations are coming through. Okay, nobody's saying anything, but it looks like my connection looks stable. And it says unstable again. Guys, let me know if I'm coming through fine. I guess if I weren't, you guys would say something. Y'all are having a big old conversation. That's quite all right too. Okay, so I'm gonna play these Instagram stories now, guys, and then okay. And I do have not thoughts on Jimmy, but I just want to clarify some things that were said. Turn Twitter off when you get stressed. Yeah, Jimmy as in Jimmy Snow. Okay. I'm holding on because it looks like because I see, thank you, Levi, for saying something, that it's buffering for you. It should be good now. I hate that this only happens on Tuesdays, right? We should be good now. I'm hoping. Please say a prayer. Please. Just for the next like hour or two, please. You can take the internet away from me for the rest of the night. Hopefully we're good now. I'm pulling these up right now. So I can't do this with my phone. I can't live with my phone. Is she screaming in it? She's kind of loud. I'll try not to make it too loud. She's loud. I don't think she screamed. Frozen. Okay. I'm gave it a moment. I think there's 8, 9, 10, 11. Unstable again. I hate this so much, you guys. I'm so sorry. Well, if this continues to happen, then I may be able to switch to live streaming from my phone, and then watching filters. Here's the only problem is that I can't switch to my phone and watch the stories because I have the stories recorded. So let's just give it a go. Okay, trying different filters. Okay, she starts with a screenshot where she says, "This is why I'm so drawn to poetry, because I grow a divergent brain." I have problems with that. And I think a lot of people have already said that Rachel Oates is currently being assessed for autism. So I don't think it's anybody's place to say, like, I know she starts to say, like, these neurotypical people, and it's nobody's place to call anybody else that because you don't know. Stopping and starting again. Okay. You can't hear the video. Okay, we're gonna give it another go. Boring tweet. More tweets because I frankly don't give a fuck anymore. I think it's really lame. Blah blah blah. I honestly don't care. I don't like this where she says, I just want to say that Rachel Oatmeal. Okay. I just want to say that Rachel Oatmeal took the time to write a book from the perspective of a dog, since I wrote mine from the perspective of an abused child, to mock me, yet she's still too much of a coward to release under her own name. What a loser, LMAO. First of all, don't call names, because then you lose the fight. I know, guys, I'm sorry. I really, really don't like, and this is going to happen again, it's really, really unfair to, if somebody doesn't like you, or if Rachel didn't even dislike Gabbie. If somebody is going to criticize you, to chalk it up to being, I'm neurodivergent, I was abused, I was this and that, this is due to my trauma. It's like, that's not what Rachel was criticizing. She wasn't mocking your trauma. She was mocking how bad your poetry was. Those are two very different things. And if you know anything about Rachel, you know that she's got a dog that she loves dearly, that her audience loves a lot. And so this was just a cute idea. It just made sense. You have every right to say, I don't like this. You have every right to say, you mocked my poetry and it was mean, or I didn't like it. That's okay. But don't make it out to be that somebody mocked your abuse. I said this, I think, maybe in a tweet. It's the same concept. I said this about Rich Lux and Jeffree Star saying, oh, he's no Mother Teresa, blah, 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 blah. When you start to use exaggerations like that, your point is lost on people. So you take it too far, you try to play too much the victim, and then your point is completely lost. Gabbie could have said, she mocked my poetry, which is mean. And I might have said, okay, I see your point. But I don't see her point because she wasn't mocking your abuse. Come on. Buffering again. All right, guys, I'm going to check my Discord because This is not great. Oh, shoot. Okay. It looked fine on my end for a while. I need y'all to let me know if I need to stop and go onto my computer. The only problem is that I don't know if I'll have access to the stories unless they're still up on Gabbie's page. Fiber internet. I would love to get fiber internet. This is my only option here, unfortunately. I hate this so much. That makes me really, really mad. You guys might have seen on Twitter how much I was like crying over Comcast, like literally crying. Do you have live open on your phone as well? I don't. Would that help? I don't, because I'm trying to actually watch the screen recording of the stories. I could easily go on my phone and go live, but then I wouldn't be able to watch the stories. Still frozen? Okay. It says we're better. So I was just talking about her saying that Rachel was mocking her abuse. No. Okay. She said she deleted her Twitter when people started calling her out on her abusive, manipulative, relentless abuse towards me. My God, cowardly loser. Gabbie, I made a video called Gabbie Hanna Needs a Vocabulary Lesson. Seriously, learn new words. Learn new words. I usually say like these people are never going to see these videos, but like somehow the stuff I say always gets back to Gabbie. Oh, I'm glad you guys are saying it's better. Okay. I look awesome. Thank you. You look awesome. So far haven't even gotten into the video part. So prayers, fingers crossed, cross everything you have. Cross your heart, hope to die. Buffering. Damn. Cut out. Dang the buffering. I wonder if I switch to my other internet. There, you have like two channels, and one's like the faster one. What if I switch to the not stream open on my phone? That's the thing. I'm watching a recording of her. Are you saying that it could? What if I have it open on my other computer? Are you saying that could be happening? I think I closed it. Let me go give it a. Let me go double check on that. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay. I don't have any instances of YouTube running anywhere in my home connected to my internet. Oh, somebody sent a super chat. Hello, she have nothing nice to say. Nothing nice to say about Gabbie. She lost that right last year. How she treated you, Alistair. That means a lot to me. It really does. This isn't really about me, and so I didn't want to make it about me, but there are things about this situation that remind me of that. So it means a lot to me that you said that. Okay, I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting because you guys' chat is coming through like fast. So where are we? Trauma can make for good art. She makes a good point when she says like make your something a work of art. I'm really bad. I honestly don't know a lot of her lyrics. But I if somebody criticizes your technique, especially your technique, it's not even like anybody was criticizing the subject matter, especially Rachel. Rachel was talking about her technique mostly. So stupid. Sorry, it's all stupid. So she said, why did this poem offend me? Anyway, screenshots of Rachel's videos. I hated this. 4K views to millions? Shit, sis, I'd be obsessed with me too. Hope you saved up. What a gold mine. We're going to talk about Gabbie Hanna and how everybody's obsessed with her. That's what Gabbie Hanna says when she feels threatened by somebody. We're just going to make that clear. Gabbie Hanna feels threatened by somebody, then if they say anything about her ever, that you're obsessed. And we're going to talk about that. I want to make sure that we've got kind of like a stable connection going before I get too fired up. Because that's like, how awkward would that be if I'm like all buffered and fired up and you guys see me just like frozen? Feel weird about the parody book. Need to look into it more. It doesn't justify the name calling, all that. No, I agree. Like, that's why I said, like, if you have a point, I said this on Twitter, if you have a point to make it without name calling, because then you might actually have people on your side. She lost everybody except for her stance. She lost everybody. Let's get to the video portion of all this. So anybody who's wearing headphones, just maybe turn it down for a second to see how bad it is. She's also said narcissism alert. Didn't she say that she didn't call Rachel a narcissist? She called her narcissistic. Either way, she's saying narcissism alert. She's saying diagnosis alert. That's what she's saying. Okay. There's a YouTube video of the story. Cassie, thank you. If we cannot get a stable connection, then I will switch to my phone and then we'll find the thing online. Yeah, email the stories if you need to. Are we good for now though? Before I start actually watching the videos, hashtag water gang. Email them to yourself. Okay. We look okay. If like that starts happening again, I'm trying to avoid it so we don't have to do a whole new link and all of that. Could send. Oh, I thought somebody was being funny when they were like, "Send it to yourself." Would you happen to have a tablet? Could send the video recording to that while. No, I mean, well, yeah, I do, but I don't have an old charger for it. The whole problem is starting a new video. If you guys would prefer for me to actually start a new video, I can do so on my phone. I can. I just don't know if that would be more, more of an issue or more of a problem, more of an inconvenience. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's see. Let's hear the name calling.
Is trying to deny the reason she deleted Twitter, so I actually want to let you know what happened. So we have a mutual friend who messaged her outside of me. I literally did not talk to him at all. He saw that she was doing, and he messaged her, and he said, have some compassion. You've been the center of hate campaigns online. Leave this girl alone. Like, you're just bullying. And then she started a Twitter.
Okay. Remember the few things that she said. I didn't speak to him outside of her, I didn't speak to him outside of her at all. He told her, stop bullying. Have some fucking compassion. You're just bullying her, right? That's more or less what we gathered. I went back and I found on the last Girl Man's podcast, email the recording to your laptop. I can get if somebody says that it exists. If the links already exist, I'd rather just use the links, but the question is whether or not you guys want me to move over to my phone, because then that means we'd have to start a new video. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, good. So a few things that I gathered that Gabbie, no, it's fine, of course. that Gabbie said was that she didn't speak to Jimmy, and that Jimmy told Rachel, have some fucking compassion. You're being just a bully right now. And I found on the Girlmance podcast where I read what the actual text messages said. So tell me if this sounds about the same to you.
Well, maybe I should read what he said. So it started with him saying, hi. So I have no expectations, but I thought you'd want to know, while I don't think Gabbie watches the videos himself, I know that the reactions people have to your videos about her poetry definitely hits her feelings. I'm not saying do or don't make the videos, but I thought you'd want to know that the human on the other side of it definitely experiences severe negativity because of it. She hasn't asked me to say this to you, by the way. She told me another one is coming, and it was obvious to me that she's messed up in anticipation.
Okay. So let's see what Gabbie said one more time. I have to go back to the recording anyway.
Trying to deny the reason she deleted Twitter, so I actually want to let you know what happened. So we have a mutual friend who messaged her outside of me. I literally did not talk to him at all. He saw that she was doing, and he messaged.
She didn't talk to him at all, even though, so now she's calling Jimmy a liar because Jimmy said, she didn't tell me she did not tell me to say this. She just said another review is coming and I know she's messed up in anticipation. Okay. So she did talk to Jimmy. And in fact, that night that they were going on and on we have a whole Girlmance podcast about this situation, and they were going on and on between Jimmy and Creepshow and Rachel, and Creepshow saying like, oh, I talk to her every day. And why didn't she say anything to me? And it's like, and they talked about how Jimmy and Gabbie talked about this. Okay. So that happened. What else does Gabbie say?
In compassion, you've been the center of hate campaigns online.
Have some fucking compassion. You've been the center of hate campaigns online. Did he say that? No. I read you the text message.
Leave this girl alone. Like, you're just bullying.
Nope.
And then
didn't
she
say
started
that.
a Twitter campaign trying to say that I manipulated her.
Side note, anytime that somebody says something on Twitter that Gabbie doesn't like, it's a campaign.
Friend into defending me. That's how narcissistic and abusive this person is, and how much she cannot accept any type of criticism, which is hilarious because she really thinks that I can't accept criticism, when the first time her friend confronted her about her shitty toxic behavior, she blamed me, the permanent scapegoat of the fucking internet, and then stopped talking to her friend. Face yourself, bitch.
Okay, don't call somebody bitch, for one. Turn off the Wi-Fi on my phone. Thanks. I don't think I have anything else that's using it. Yeah, this was bothersome because if you aren't familiar with exactly what happened that day, or around that situation, Gabbie sent Rachel her book. She sent Rachel her book and said that she wanted the book in the hands of somebody who understands and appreciates poetry. Hence why she knew another review was coming. You guys want me to check the tab? My goodness. This makes me very, very sad. Wait, you guys is this, okay, you guys told me to check the tab. Is it for something new? Because I want to get through this first. Or is it something immediate that I need to know? Because I see you guys are talking about like Oscar Wilde and do I need to check this tab? I'm not sure what I'm looking for. Oh, it's for the Wi-Fi on my phone. Okay, thanks guys. Thank you. Okay. So Gabbie sent Rachel the book and said, I want this in the hands of somebody who knows and appreciates poetry. She knew that she was going to get a review. She knew it. She knew that she was going to get a review by Rachel. And I remember that video. I remember Rachel being hopeful and thinking that it was a very mature move on Gabbie's part. And when she read the poetry, she was disappointed. She said that she just saw a lot of the same stuff. It didn't seem like she took any of the pointers, and she didn't grow at all as a writer. And that was what she did. And I take issue. I know that Jimmy was trying to, or I understand. I don't know him. But to me, you're saying my name. Give it a second. I turned off my Wi-Fi a long time ago. Okay, thanks, guys. God, this is such a shit show. Ugh. Okay. So here's my issue with what Jimmy did. He was trying to be a good friend. He was trying to be a good friend to both of them. He was being nice to Rachel. To be honest with you, if he had said what Gabbie said, I'd be like, dude, you're not a friend. You're a fucking bully. You have some fucking compassion. You've been at the center of hate campaigns. No, like, she really hasn't been. What she was doing was her job. And she critiques poetry. She doesn't just critique Gabbie Hanna's poetry. A lot of people have only critiqued Gabbie Hanna's poetry among their other videos. But this is what Rachel does. And so I understand that Rachel was, oh my God, Ashley. Refresh my chat. I'm 5 minutes delayed. How do I refresh it? How do I refresh my chat? How? I may have to see if there's a link to this, you guys, and just do this from my phone. I see a lot of people saying it's okay, but then I see my mods telling me to refresh I don't know how to refresh the chat. There's no option to refresh. I can pop it out. Let's pop out the chat. Try that. Apparently I'm 5 minutes delayed. I don't know if that means that the chat is delayed 5 minutes or I'm delayed 5 minutes. I kind of need a little bit of help with that understanding. Yeah, the chat's taking a little while to load. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Oh, do I refresh? I pop it out. It's not loading. I might be able to actually pull up the chat on my phone. Do the link. Okay. Read your most recent chat. All right, am I reading more common or more up-to-date chats now, guys? What I see is, are you on live chat or top chat? Is your chat on live chat or top chat? helloleesh, live chat or top chat? I saw no delay here. No delay here. It's okay. You'll figure it out. Oh, thank you, Deej. Put the ones in the chat so we all see how far behind her chat is. Yeah, that would be helpful. I just read that, so. It's weird that you can't just pop the chat back in, you know? Thank you, guys. Mods, I'm trusting the chat that everybody's saying everything's okay. I'm seeing ones. Sounds like we're good. Okay, good. Whew. I'm so sorry, you guys. Actually, it's the tweets. It's the DMs to customer care or Comcast cares. Okay, I see the ones. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay. So I believe you guys heard everything that I said though up until this point, that it sucks that this happens because it kind of like it fucks with my flow of like talking about all of this. And bye, Cassie. I know you guys are the most patient. I don't understand why, but I love you for it so much. The book itself is about abuse. What kind of person could do that? A sick one. Who could do what? Criticize the poetry? Because I agree, you shouldn't criticize somebody's abuse or mock someone's abuse. But writing you can always do. First of all, isn't it always, it's up to interpretation. Remember Gabbie was saying, like, if you if you think it's deep, then you're reading too far into it, and if you think that it's too simple, you're not reading deeply enough into it, and it's all a matter of interpretation. And that's what art is, baby. And it's an either way. Like, Kelly Clarkson wrote a song about her abusive mom or whatever, doesn't mean I have to like the song. It doesn't mean that I have to say, this is a good song. It doesn't mean that I have to say, oh, like the bridge, the chorus, the verses, everything's on point. The tempo, her pitch, everything's amazing. I mean, it might be, I don't know. But like, no, that's not what that means. You can criticize the technique of any art. Any art is open to criticism. We're not criticizing the experience of Gabbie Hanna that evoked these emotions. That is all valid. And I have not heard anybody say anything other than that your feelings are valid. The art you create, that you put out public, that you're selling 40,000 net, I mean gross, a month, that you're putting out, that you're sharing with the world, when you put it out there to be criticized, to either be enjoyed or not to be enjoyed, for people to say what's great about it, for people to say what's not great about it. And that's, I hate myself for this. That's art, baby. If you know, you know. So that's art, baby. I don't know if I was responding to you and you didn't mean it in that way, and I sounded like I was getting snippy at you, I'm so sorry. But just to anybody who might think that like that this is like Rachel mocking Gabbie's abuse, I think that's I'm gonna say that's a motherfucking cop out. That is that the whole these neurotypicals, the whole she's mocking my my abuse. You started a hate campaign. Those are all motherfucking cop outs, because she just reviewed your poetry book, and she didn't say, she wasn't even mean. She just wasn't, she wasn't happy with what she saw. So I'm checking in with the chat here and there just to make sure everything looks okay. When you guys are chatting and going off, because I know everybody's fired up, I'm taking that as a good sign. She went off on Rachel for criticizing Bo Burnham's book. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And Bo Burnham here's the thing. Gabbie has gotten into the habit of saying that artists are objectively good or bad. There is no such thing as art being objectively anything. Art is objectively art, and that's it. Bo Burnham, I think he's probably a genius. I think that what he creates is amazing. Have I read his poems? No. Do I like my bias would probably lead me to believe that it's probably good because he's really smart, he's really funny, and I'm not an expert on poetry. But that doesn't mean that everybody has to like it. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I don't know that I deserve the thumbs up right now. If you guys have it for me, thank you. But I'm making you guys flex a lot of patience right now. I just really I'm really upset over how Gabbie misrepresented this conversation between Jimmy and Rachel, especially for her to be like, I was not involved in this face too. That scares me. She is angry. I'm not saying her face is anything's wrong with her face. I'm just saying the expression is whatever. Anyway, so let's move on to the next part.
Me. And you know why she hasn't critiqued my work in months? Because the last couple times she did it, she started getting overwhelming hate from people both on the internet and in her real life, because people started to see through it. They were like, why are you still going at this girl? Like, relentlessly. She can't fucking stop. And it's because when she talks about me, she gets hundreds of thousands to millions of views. And then she posts a little makeup get ready with me and gets 4,000. That's why she cares about my art. She's not a fucking artist.
Okay. This might be just a question for the audience because I don't understand what she's saying. To me, she's not making sense. She's saying like, yeah, she was getting so much hate, so she stopped talking about me. But we have seen a good bit of videos that Rachel's made about Gabbie's poetry. Alistair, hello. Gabbie Hanna proved what kind of person she was and with how she treated you. Thank you. Thank you. I tried before then, and I've still been trying. I'm still trying. But yeah, she's gonna bring this up a bunch. You guys probably know this. The whole 4K views, blah 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 blah. Somebody pointed out something really good that I saw on Twitter. It was a fan. She was like, "I'm a fan of Gabbie Hanna, but this does not look good." And she took a clip from a video. Now here's where I'm gonna make this about me. You know how Gabbie Hanna says that I think that her song's about me and blah 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 blah. I'll be real with you guys when I say that something is about me, and then she'll tell me it's not about me, and I'll say no, that was about me. Those tweets about like, oh, why is it that people think you can go for a public figure's family just because they become a public figure? Blah 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 blah. It's because her sister was having a fucking meltdown, and I'm gonna say that, and I'm not gonna take it back because I called her arrogant. Megan, I think once you sell something to kids for money, it's a lot less sacred. She's virtue signaling over something she sold out herself. Ugh. That is a very rough way to look at it, and I mean like a very like harsh reality. That is a good point. But somebody made a point where Gabbie was saying like, you know, it's one of the worst things you can say is to call somebody irrelevant. And I believe that video that she made, which people also noted that they were like, she used red lipstick like you, she was wearing black rims like you, she was wearing hoops like you, like it was a little weird. I'm not saying that she was trying to copy my look, but she released this video after her sister Cecilia had this whole little meltdown over me calling her arrogant in a video about the Vlog Squad, but that mentioned Gabbie and her sisters on the internet for like 30 seconds. I think I even counted 30 seconds. And so Gabbie went online to like make a video that was like very vaguely defending her sisters. And apparently somebody called her irrelevant. I wasn't the one who did it. And I agree with Gabbie that like, it's not okay to talk to people like that, blah, 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 blah. Right. But she said one of the worst things you can do is call people irrelevant and equate them to their numbers. And then she goes and does this. And this is not the first time she's done that. And honestly, when you say like, oh, haha, my name makes you lots of money. My name makes you so much money. You're doing the same shit. It's all the same. All lives in time. Gabbie seems to use anger as a way of processing her experiences. She says her truth as loud as she can to feel like she's winning. That's so true. It's true. And I feel for her because I can tell that it's all emotionally charged, right? These are all coming from feelings, but it's just handled so poorly, so poorly.
Because she has no accomplishments in art or has proven to me that she's actually intellectual enough to understand art.
Oh, no, bitch. No. And that was like a proverbial bitch, but like, no. I don't know exactly all of Rachel's history, but you are not in any place to say you're not intellectual enough to understand art. Rachel has pointed out to me that a lot of Gabbie's fans are saying Rachel didn't study art, she didn't study poetry, she didn't study English, blah 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 blah. She didn't in college, in university, depending on where you are. That's, you'll say it differently. But she did, after college, study poetry, and she took some sort of coursework with like a project and a test that, and she received the highest score in that one can get out of the standardized test that that she has in her country. So, so that's, you're coming for her intelligence and her experience at this point. Like, why should anybody be any nicer to you? Why? I don't get it. Okay.
Accept my criticism from talented, smart people, not abusive, toxic, exploitative bullies on YouTube.
I think it goes without saying that probably the most abusive, toxic, exploitative bully on YouTube is Gabbie Hanna, and she's proving that herself every single day. She blocked me. I've had a whole video where I talked about that. Yeah, you get blocked a lot, Gabbie. A lot.
Hey, Rachel, instead of hopping in my DMs trying to bully and gaslight me from your own abuse, you could just apologize. I know that if I did anything like this, I would be called manipulative, sociopathic, narcissistic, attention hungry, money hungry, but that is who you are. What you did was bully and harass me for months. And then when you got called out of it, got super defensive. Like, you literally just ran away and blocked me instead of looking at your own criticism. You can't take criticism towards yourself at all. I've still never blocked you after all of the harassment. You can't stand even the tiniest ounce of criticism. You're a fucking monster.
Okay. There's so much about in that part of the story that reminds me. This is the part when I said one of the reasons I was triggered, which I never say, was because it reminded me so much of Dan is here. It reminds me so much of how she spoke to me on the phone. And like I said, thankfully it didn't get to this level that it got for Rachel. It's really, really sad, really bad, really abusive. That's the irony of all of this, is just that she's calling other people abusive while she is being at a very, very high level, super abusive. At this point, has anybody kept track of all the names she's called Rachel just so far? But the way that she spoke to this is what she did to me. She said, if I did this, when she was on the phone with me, if I did this, I would be called narcissistic, abusive, manipulative, blah, 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 blah. Just same shit that she said to Rachel. And I said, Gabbie, you're really calling me all these words, narcissistic, abusive, manipulative, all that? And she goes, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that you're those things. I said that I would be called those things. So I don't want to call it careful, but she's like very, she evades like certain things and finds like, she's very manipulative with how she says what she wants to say. I think that was her way of calling Rachel all those things without saying you are those things. She just said, if I would be called these things. But she did say that's what you are, and you're a fucking monster. Remember, I said we had that whole disagreement or that misunderstanding or whatever, where I was like, Gabbie Hanna just called me a monster. And she was like, you just called me a monster. And everybody was like, oh, it's confusing. helloleesh should have said monster ? No, I said monster. I said it like that. When I asked her, don't you fight with enough people already? She said, only monsters on the internet. Only monsters on the internet who twist a narrative or something. Monsters on the internet. And I said, monster. Cool. Let me be real nice to you online. That's what I said. I didn't want to put a question mark on it. Bye, Meegs. I'm getting fired up and then like, bye, Meegs. Yeah, Randy, 100%. Resorting to name calling destroys your argument completely. I could have had your back. And Rachel, I would consider somebody that I am friendly with. And I could have Gabbie's back if she had made her point well. If she had just said, I feel mocked. This book you wrote from the perspective of your dog makes me feel mocked. And that's me. I could have some sympathy for her, but she didn't go. That's not where she went. And also she was like, this isn't just coming out and we'll get there.
When somebody hurts you over and over and over again over a prolonged period of time, and then whenever you finally stand up for yourself, they say you're having a breakdown. Where the real narcissism comes in is she says, I'm talking about her for attention. You mean Miss 4K views on your fucking makeup tutorial? Miss 4K views on your commentary piece a week ago? Yeah, I just checked. I'm talking about you for attention. You talk about me, you get millions. I talk about you, I get still millions, but not because of you. The fact that she said,
fuck this shit. So, again, you guys don't need me to tell you that this is a load of horse shit. For one, we just talked about reducing people to their numbers. I also said this on Twitter. I wonder if anybody has some numbers that they can share with me, like on Discord or something. And I know Adam McIntyre, somebody said that he's talked about the numbers. Like, bitch, you're about to get ratioed. Again, proverbial bitch. Bitch, you're about to get ratioed. And at this point, I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm going to use the word bitch here and there. It's not in a sense to say Gabbie Hanna is a bitch, but she is mean. And it makes you want to just speak in that tone. And that's not how she spoke to Rachel. She said, "You are a bitch." And Rachel's not. She's just not. But we just talked about, reducing people to their numbers. And I said this on Twitter. I said that, in my opinion, this is why you're never going to be happy, because you continue to equate people to their numbers. And for as long as you continue to do that, there's always going to be somebody that's got better numbers than you, Gabbie. And so you'll never be happy. There are so many people that have such better numbers than her. If you're talking about Billboard numbers or New York Times or like book sales or numbers on YouTube. Same with me. I've got different areas of my life. Her stands love to reduce me to like my number of views or whatever on YouTube. It's like, there's a lot more to my life than my views on YouTube. There's a lot more to Rachel's life than her views on YouTube, and for Gabbie, right? There's more to all of us than these numbers. But also, you're taking the lowest number that you could find on Rachel's channel and reducing her to that. Okay? So you're doing that, and I would say that you are defining yourself by your highest numbers, but again, bitch, your numbers aren't that high. Millions? No. I took a look. Gabbie Hanna has not been in the millions since she was living in that 2-bedroom apartment. So since she moved into this house, she has not broken 2 million on a video. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if there was something that I didn't see that you saw. I did run some numbers, and I saw that that over the past 3 months, it looked like on average, Rachel gets about 50K or so views, and Gabbie gets about 90K views. So, you start to split hairs, because at this point, Gabbie's only making content on a channel that has less than 100,000 subscribers, which, like, what does that say about you if you started with 6 million? I'm not saying it says anything about you, but you keep equating people to their numbers. And so in a sense, it's like, well, Gabbie's numbers are better for the subscriber count, but still, considering that Rachel is somebody with a smaller platform, she just is. That's Gabbie's second channel or whatever, but still, the size of Gabbie's platform compared to Rachel's so much bigger, and yet her numbers are not even twice what Rachel's are on average. But she's saying millions. I take issue with that. You're not getting millions. And in fact, this whole, I don't know what to call it now, because I called it a mental health moment last year. And the reason I call it a mental health moment is because we didn't get any information about any sort of medical treatment. And so I didn't feel comfortable calling it a mental breakdown. She called it a mental breakdown. Now she doesn't like somebody referring to what she's going through as a breakdown. So I don't know what to call it. Gabbie or her fans, tell me what to call this, what she went through after I respond to Kaylarg. Gabbie's IG story is kind of triggering, because this is the way I talk to myself. And I wish Gabbie would have thought of who was seeing this. That's really sad. That's really sad. And I think that a lot of people probably relate to you to some degree. And I would love it if people in the chat could like raise a hand or something if you do relate to that too. Like, this is kind of like my own hate speech in my mind, that like where I beat myself down, because we all have that. And that's really sad, because you're right. It's triggering because everybody's got thoughts like this, right? So when somebody who doesn't like you comes out and they say these things and they're like, fuck you, you got 4K views. Like, I would venture to say that Rachel might have been like, oh, that video only got 4K views. Like, that sucks. Like, especially when you look at so I was looking at their numbers, and Gabbie's got, I would say that there's a pretty tight range for Gabbie compared to Rachel. For Rachel, she's got some videos that are sitting at around 4K views, and then she's got, the video about the first video about Gabbie's poetry that got over 1 million views, and then she's got a bunch that are like in the couple hundreds of thousands of views. Gabbie's here lately really stick between like 18K to 80K. They really kind of stay right there, except for when she brought Trisha Paytas onto her podcast. And Trisha got her something close to 600,000 views. So it's just kind of funny, because like, if we're going to keep equating people to the numbers that they pull in, then like, what does that say about Trisha Paytas compared to you? But thank you guys for raising your hands. Kayla, I don't know if this helps you at all. But I see a lot, in my opinion, for me, this is a lot of solidarity. I think we all have, I think most of us know that experience of just really just beating yourself the fuck down. And you're right. When somebody else vocalizes, it's just like what I've talked about, maybe it was more on Patreon, but I talked about how, when you've experienced, like, when trigger warning, talking ED, weight, and body dysmorphia and stuff like that, body image issues. If you've had any of that stuff, and then you're like, you have a partner or a friend or something like that who points out something negative about your body that you don't like, you can't look at yourself in the mirror anymore and try to affirm yourself and say that's not true. Those voices in my head are not, they're speaking lies, because somebody's already validated the hate speech in your mind. And that's exactly, Kayla, you made a really good point. That is exactly what Gabbie's doing to Rachel here, is validating any possible hate speech. We don't know for sure if Rachel has it, but we see a lot of hands being raised that, that it seems like it's a pretty universal experience. Ahoy Matey says she's teaching a lot of the younger generation. This is how you handle criticism, and if someone disagrees, they're gaslighting and narcissistic. You're totally right. And that the way to handle it is to stand up for yourself by calling people names. That's awful. It's awful. Defend yourself, but do it right. Take the criticism that's valid. That's something, it's not easy to do, but it's also not the hardest thing to do. I recognize that I don't deal with all the same issues that another person might, but it's really, might feel character assassinating and self-assassinating and all that to listen to criticism, but it is something you can survive. And if you're not surviving it, you can get treatment for it. And so I'm sorry, maybe weed's not doing it. Maybe you need therapy to be able to handle criticism, and maybe weed's not helping you handle criticism, And if none of that works, then maybe you're in the wrong industry, because we who put ourselves in the public are open to criticism, and this is not how you handle it. It's such bad form. It's such bad form. Do you know how many times I need to look at criticism and go, okay, how much of this is valid? Sometimes I think this is not valid, and I stand up for myself with logic and reason. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm beefing myself up. This is just my experience and what I've learned a year on YouTube, is that if I don't think the criticism is valid, I will not talk down to that person. I will respectfully disagree and tell them why. But if that criticism is valid, or if that thought is valid, then you kind of have to like take that punch and just roll with it. And like, honestly, I think it's good for him to thank people for it and just move on. And then that punch goes away and you feel better for having done the right thing. I don't know, Gabbie, if this message will ever get to you. I know that the parts you hate really get to you, but Zoe says Gabbie and JC both play the I'm right because I talk louder and faster than you game. Oh God, that oof. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree because I remember when James was he made that video aimed towards Trisha Paytas talking about the D'Amelios. That's the vibe I got big time from him, where he was like, I am friends with the D'Amelio family as a whole, and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And it was like, oh my god, you're speaking loud and fast in a way. I understand that he does that. That's like kind of like how he speaks, but it's very intimidating. And when I spoke to Gabbie on the phone, I told a few people afterwards, like my friends, and then I also like it's no secret I became friendly with like Jesse and Alex and Jen. Jen and I were already friendly. And I said, like, the way she speaks is so fast and so intensely that by the time you get a moment to speak, you felt steamrolled. You don't even know what you were thinking, and it's and I, from what I'm told, they said she speaks to everyone like that, and it's just it's not conducive to anybody growing or learning anything. So let's see.
Seeking games as if I've ever responded to her before. This is my first time responding to Rachel Oates. So what are my games? Is this a game or?
I would argue that these are games because you're just now saying something. And I know she tries to say something later, but I'll talk about that.
I'm just standing up for myself against the people who harassed, exploited, and profited off of me for almost a year.
I think she's got.
What is it, you manipulative, narcissistic bitch? Problem is
manipulative, narcissistic bitch. I hope that somebody's been keeping track, just like a list of all the names. Like this, we need to see a list of all the names, and I think that needs to go on Twitter, and I think that needs to go not viral because it only as viral as Gabbie Hanna Twitter might be, but yeah, I think a list of the names that she called Rachel Oates, just so you can see how awful you're being. You're mean. Gabbie Hanna, you are a mean person. You are a mean, nasty person. You are hateful. I called you hateful before, or I said that you thought I was hateful and then you called me hateful, whatever. No, you're hateful. You're hateful and you're mean and you're nasty. You're a mean girl. You talk to other people, you call other people bullies. There's nobody in this room, figuratively, that is as much a bully as Gabbie Hanna. Trust. 100%. It's being proved. You don't need me to tell you that. Screenshots in the Discord about newly developing beef with Oscar Wilde. I might get to that, but there's already so much going on, so we'll see. Kayla says there's a difference between defending yourself and what Gabbie's doing. Totally. You remove the name calling and belittling. Make your point. Just make your point.
And this is where narcissistic abuse happens, is people think that they can say whatever they want about me and that I can't respond. I'm allowed to respond when I want.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to heal and get better because there were mountains of happening to me from all directions at all times, and I couldn't go up against all of it. But right now, this morning, as people are tweeting about this shit, and it made me think about it, and it made me want to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself.
You absolutely can defend yourself. I just find it very odd that it's always at times where she's displaying very unhealthy behavior that she says that she's doing well. I don't buy that.
And you don't get to tell me I'm starting drama for finally responding to the months, the multiple videos, the millions of views, the tweets, the Instagram posts, the fact that you made a book mocking me. You fucking weird ass bitch. You published a book.
Fucking weird ass bitch, narcissistic abuser, weird bitch, narcissistic bitch, 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 bitch. You are starting drama when you do that. If you respond to a book review and you say, I don't think that this was fair because of this, or I think that this book about, written from a dog's perspective, feels like it's mocking my trauma. It feels mean. That is standing up for yourself. This is starting drama. And it does matter when it kind of comes out of nowhere, when the situation is past and you brought it up again. It's not to say you can't bring up a situation that's old, but you are bringing it up kind of out of nowhere. Everybody's blindsided by this. And the language that you're using makes it drama. So you have started drama. I know Gabbie loves to say that she doesn't start drama. She's the one who starts drama.
Mocking me. Said everything I want to say unless she opens her fucking mouth and says something else. Because I just want to let everyone know.
Oh, and this buffered for a second. Just give it a minute. Not a whole minute, just a few seconds.
I don't give a fuck anymore about pretty much anything. I mean,
You clearly do.
I clearly give a fuck. What I mean is I don't give a fuck what people think about me. So I start speaking my mind.
Nope. Not true. Not true. Gabbie Hanna cares so much about what people think of her that she gives so much energy to smaller channels. Like, she equates people to their numbers, but the people with the smallest numbers are the people that really get to her ego, her fragile fucking ego, and just break it. And it's not even people being mean to her. I have people being mean to me all the time, every single day. Gabbie fans are mean to me. But somebody just gives valid criticism, and you're losing your fucking mind. You're losing your fucking mind over, and somebody's gonna call me ableist for that. No, it's figurative, is what I'm saying. You're losing your mind, meaning you're losing your temper over somebody giving you criticism, and you're pretending not to care. Clearly you care. What is this all about? Or maybe you don't care and you just have music coming out and you just want to start shit, in which case you're starting drama. You're starting drama. But you care. You really, really care. And note how she said that she's done. She's like, as long as Rachel doesn't open her mouth, I'm done.
And saying what the fuck I want to say. And when I see harassment, bullying, and abuse, I'm going to stand up for myself the same way I stand up for everybody else. I'm done accepting behavior for myself that I would not accept for my friends. So unless she opens her fucking mouth again, I think I've said my piece. For now, I guess we'll see. But watch her turn this into a video series. Of drama
Not
means
done.
finally having the strength to stand up against people who have harassed, mocked, exploited, and bullied you for years. Yeah, I'm a fucking drama queen. I love the drama.
You do, Gabbie. What a toxic, manipulative, ugly person. Wait, what did she say? I can say that because she's ugly on the inside. You know what's funny? Jess, I hope you don't mind me calling you out, but I thought this was such a beautiful tweet. Gabbie, sometime in the last year, tweeted something, and she was like, I'm so ugly. Why am I so ugly? LMAO. And Say Jack quote tweeted her and said, only on the inside, LMAO. I don't think that Gabbie thinks that Rachel is ugly on the outside. I think that Gabbie is highly insecure and only seems to take up beef with other women. So let's talk about that after this video.
Rachel Oates, I'm actually not responding out of nowhere. I'm responding because you have 8 to 10 videos about me on your channel. You published a book mocking me. You tried to cause drama between my actual friend and I. You went on Twitter accusing me of manipulating friend into standing up against you. What else? Instagram posts, tweets. You're a manipulative bitch, and I'm done dealing with it. Now, I was waiting for you to slow down so I could respond to everything at once when I was mentally strong. That doesn't mean I'm having a breakdown. That actually means I'm finally healthy. You fucking sick, twisted bitch. I was done.
I am healthy, you fucking sick, twisted bitch. Add that to the list, please. And add the I'm healthy if you're taking note. I'm healthy, you fucking sick, twisted bitch.
Opening my mouth as long as she shut her fucking mouth, and she can't, which is funny because she doesn't want me to respond, and she literally can't help herself from responding even though she's wrong. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, basically what happened was I published a book that was about sexual abuse, childhood trauma, suicidal ideation, mental illness, mortality, amongst other things. It came out, it did great. It was a New York Times bestseller. It sold consistently $40,000 gross every single month for years. And then it was just doing really well. And then as soon as it was trendy to hate me because some person started some random fucking lies about me that nobody cared to look into because I didn't.
Wait, time out. So she's talking about the number. She talks about what her book's about. It's about abuse and trauma and blah, 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 blah. It also performed like this. It did $40,000 gross. Blah, 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 blah. So which is it about? First, I want to know, like, is she attacking a piece that is of a sensitive nature, or is she attacking a piece that she has no business attacking because it performed well? Like, I know she could be doing both, but like, you need to make your point.
Myself. Then she started a hate campaign about my poetry book because it's
almost
so
done.
Current, right?
She says, still can't believe she harassed me and mocked my trauma relentlessly. She so did not. then tried to start problems in my personal life, then blocked me, then accused me of having a breakdown for holding her accountable. What a narcissistic bitch. Calling people a narcissistic bitch, you sick fucking twisted bitch, you weird bitch, that is not holding anybody accountable. That's abuse. That's abuse. That is abuse. I'm not going to call it narcissistic abuse because I don't know if you're a narcissist, but it is abusive. That's abuse. Then it's just a bunch of screenshots, and that's it. That was the oh my God. So healthy people do not speak to each other like that, right? Rachel did not speak to Gabbie in these ways. Rachel's been going through some tough shit. I don't talk to Gabbie this way. I've been going through some tough shit. So, and yes, healthy people can be going through things, but even when a lot of us are at our like weakest points, still don't go there. And here's the thing, like I would totally like forgive Gabbie if she like truly came out and apologized for these things, but if history serves as any indicator, she's not going to. Let me see. I know that there are things that people have said in Discord. There are things on the things. I have some notes here. I found it really weird that she referred to her in, I don't know if you guys saw this, in one of these screenshots, she referred to Rachel as Rachel Oatmeal, which I thought was such like a cheap and tacky and weird and stupid and silly, like a weird reach. And then it reminded me, I'm like, who is she? I think she's trying to be like the drama guys. Like, you know how like Deaf Noodles will like with his whole like satire thing that her fans hate, he will like mispronounce everybody's name, right? Or with Nick Snyder, when she talks about without a crystal ball, she'll say like without a pot to piss in or something like that, without 2 brain cells or whatever. It's like, then she's like Rachel Oatmeal. It's like, don't like stop. It's the name calling again. It's like, what if we came out here and we were just like, hey, Gobble's hand jobs, right? That's your name, right? No, like nobody's even talking about you like that. Like, cut it out. I mean, I wouldn't be offended if I were Rachel, but still, it's just ugly. It's ugly. It is ugly. You are ugly, and I can say that because you're ugly on the inside. Discord is down? What does that mean? What does Discord is down mean? It's never been down. Anyway, I still have some more notes, and then we've got some emails to read. Thank you guys for looking out for each other, though, to like let each other know how to get it back up. Is there anybody that can share the tweets from Nikocado Avocado in the Basically podcast channel? Because I found that to be really interesting. Speaking of like Deaf Noodles, because he's got Deaf Noodles and he covers Nikocado a lot. And guess what? Drama channels and commentary channels typically like have certain creators that they tend to talk about a lot. And that is an issue too that I wanted to bring up, because I think this is like maybe one of the most important points that I would want to get across to Gabbie about herself, because the things that she likes to say about me, about Rachel, about anybody who talks about her, she's made the song, right, that's written about me, that says something like, isn't it funny, my name makes you a lot of money. And she keeps talking about how like, oh, she's going to make this a piece about me. She needs me to get millions of views. When people talk about me, anytime people talk about me, they get these numbers. And it's like, we need to take a second, okay? Because you think that you're so fabulous, you're so awesome, you're so famous, that's why people are talking about you, is because they're leeching on your awesomeness and your fame and how interesting you are, which actually, that might be valid. But just how amazing you are, that's what we're all just like, leeching off of. But here's the thing. If you are really that just like awesome and fantastic and amazing and famous on your own, then you would get the views, honey. And you don't. Like you somehow you had 6 million subscribers at some point, and I just don't understand how you created a second channel and that's where all of your content is now, and you haven't even hit 100K. What's the deal here? And especially if you're so interesting and you make people so much money, then and oh, another thing that she said about me, and I'm sure she said about other people, she said about Rachel, is that we're just not interesting enough on our own, like she is, to make videos just about ourselves. We're not interesting enough. But here's the thing. Gabbie Hanna is not awesome, amazing, famous, and that's why people make videos about her and that's why they get views. First of all, it's not my choice that the topic of Gabbie Hanna gets views. It's not Rachel's choice. Like if it were my choice, then like any topic I talk about or want to talk about would get views. Because like, of course we want that as YouTubers. And I love what Nick Duramio said one time when he was talking about Shane Dawson content, and then he talked about it again, and then some people were criticizing him, and he was like, listen, my content is 50% what I want to talk about and 50% what works. And doesn't that just make sense? Doesn't it make sense that the market determines what succeeds? It's in terms of just kind of like what topic, right? What topic is going to be successful? And when it comes to Gabbie, I think she is so much the example of what not to do in so many areas of public life. She's done everything wrong in terms of how to handle your platform, in terms of how to handle criticism, in terms of how to write a poetry book. Some aspects of her music, in terms of how entitled she's acted about her music. Last summer, we were having a whole meltdown or breakdown or whatever she called it because she was being shadow banned because Special got what 700,000 views or something like that. And she's like, my videos get more than this. My music videos get more than this. Go look at her channel. Her music videos get that much. So I went off on some sort of tangent here, but the topic of Gabbie Hanna is arguably more interesting than Gabbie Hanna talking about her own life or Gabbie Hanna talking about what interests her or anything like that. The topic of Gabbie Hanna and how she handles social life, people, public life, platform, any of that stuff. There's so many good, interesting talking points and conversations packed into this woman and her behavior, her public behavior. Nobody's digging into her shit. Like, we're not pulling a Katie Joy. We're not digging into her life and looking for things. This stuff is all out there. We're talking just about the shit that she's doing out there. And that in and of itself is so at times cringeworthy and just like upsetting. And a lot of it is just upsetting. You are such an upsetting person, Gabbie Hanna. You are so upsetting to a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And for that reason, we talk about you. And because you've upset not just the people who are talking about you, but the audience, the market that has demanded this content about you, they're upset with you too. And you can argue that, some people really love Gabbie Hanna, blah, 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 blah. Sure, those are the people that are giving you your miss 18,000 views on your new channel. And yes, I'm being sarcastic and satirical in the way that I present that, but because I think 18,000 is like, great, 18,000 people clicked on your video, but still, because to Gabbie, all you're worth is your numbers, and at this point, she should have more than 18,000 views on a video. She should. She just absolutely should, especially if she's so interesting on her own, especially if she's a good and decent and wonderful person. I feel like she's tried to compare herself to Jenna Marbles, just like she's compared herself to Lil Nas X, to Britney Spears, to like every single oppressed person and group that we've talked about here recently. And when Jenna Marbles came out and canceled herself, we say canceled herself because, she kind of apologized and then went off the internet. And then Gabbie made some sort of comment. It was like, stop making everything about you. You're nothing like Jenna Marbles. You're not. And there are plenty of people, and you could argue that people don't really talk about, yes, Jenna Marbles people talk a lot about because she's just that great. But, there are a lot of like unproblematic people who they seem to be like good friends and stay out of trouble with other people. And like drama channels don't talk about them because what is there to talk about? Hey, this person handled this interaction well. It's really, there's not really a conversation there because that doesn't help. It does help sometimes to compare people and to say like, look at this behavior. This is how to handle this. But when you see just a shit show happening in front of your face and you're like, oh my God, you start to spot all the things that are wrong with what you're watching. Then you talk about that. And it's fine. We can not make a video about you, Gabbie Hanna, but people are going to be talking about it. And they do. And we do. I engage in those conversations every couple of days, probably. Sometimes it's every day. Sometimes it's every day. And sometimes I go a week or two without talking about her. It all depends. Here lately, stuff has been going on with her that I don't understand, that doesn't involve other people. It just seems to be her by herself. And I've just kind of stepped away from that. I recently commented, I've said that I was concerned about her behavior. Her fans have taken that out of context and made that into something that it's not. But simply put, you by yourself really are not that interesting. And I actually didn't know that was just going to come out of my mouth. But yeah, you by yourself are not as interesting as you think you are, because you would be pulling in much bigger numbers with the audience that you've amassed, and you're not. And you're clickbaiting, and those are the 85K views and stuff are like you putting one of these rings on your left hand and saying, this is the reason I haven't been filming, right? Stuff like that. Those are the videos that are getting the high views, aside from like your music videos or having Trisha Paytas on your podcast. So don't tell other people that they're not interesting enough on their own, because here's the thing. People like me, people like Rachel Oates, people like Vangelina Skov, people like Def Noodles, like all these people who talk about you, they're sitting and they're just giving their thoughts on you. Just their thoughts. Peter Mon's a great example. He'll sit down and he'll just give you his thoughts. These are, sure, you are the subject matter, but these are the thoughts that have come out of our brains. These are what we have come up with. And so in a sense, I mean, sure, I'm sure you can argue it both ways, but in a sense, we are interesting on our own. You are good subject matter. Now, I'm going to put it the way my friend Amberin says it. She didn't say this about Gabbie. She said it about somebody else, but you're good TV, Gabbie. You're good TV in the way that, like, honestly, the way that people used to hate watch reality TV stars. It doesn't make you an awesome, cool, wonderful, good person. It doesn't. It makes you good subject matter to talk about. So yeah, that was like honestly the really big point that I wanted to make, because I'm so sick of her calling people out for talking about her and trying to make it sound like she did it with Jessie too. That we talk about her and it makes us so much money. It makes us so much money that this was a whole argument she and I had on the phone. It's because I'm so amazing and wonderful and interesting on my own that you need to talk about me in order to make millions of views, even though on my own I get millions of views. No, you don't. You don't. You get 18K. Yeah, I was noting too. Yeah, I already said that. It seems like she's going after just women and smaller channels. Rachel is not a small channel. But compared to what Gabbie has amassed over the years, yeah, that's a lot smaller. When she came after me, I remember Griff did the math and was like, her platform is something like 200 times. It was even more than 200 times. It was something like 250 times the size of my platform. Why are you coming after me? Especially when you've got all these other bigger creators talking about you that are men at that. She seems to like, and I know that she doesn't like Nick or Justin either, but she really goes hard at the women. And now, when I was talking to Rachel, she informed me that apparently Gabbie is seems that she's started going after Evangelina Scobb, and that's not okay. That's not okay over here on Hello Leash. We are a fan of Evangelina Scobb. You don't have to agree with all of her content. In fact, you don't have to agree with any of her content, but she's a small creator. Don't do that shit. Don't do that fucking shit, because it happened to me last summer, and it was, you want to talk about trauma, you want to talk about abuse. She's never going to own that. Gabbie Hanna's never going to own that sort of behavior and how destructive it is. And it is really destructive. It is bad. So to you, friend that I talked to in the beginning of this, who told me, keep it whatever, like, I want to know, and I might DM you. I want to know, because you were involved in this situation. I want to know if you really have seen this for what it is. I've seen how this person treats other people, particularly people who have so much less power and influence than her. But hold her accountable. Just like she said, Rachel can't handle being held accountable. Gabbie cannot handle being held accountable. That's all any of us have done. Rachel has kept her shit together when talking about Gabbie. Evangelina Scobb, as far as I know, has kept her shit together. Angelica Oles can be a little bit more cutting with her words, but still, relative to that, has really kind of kept her shit. I definitely, most of the time, keep my shit together when I talk about Gabbie. She can't handle the criticism, and she's the one who's abusive and bullying. I was noting that a lot of verified accounts are speaking out against her. I don't know if you guys saw that. Maybe I need to go into the basically a podcast channel of my Discord to see if I see any of these screenshots. Oh man, they were good. And it made me realize I'm gonna have to restart Discord. It looks like it was acting funny for me too. But first I saw a tweet from, she had the whole tirade to Trisha. Was that recent? Well, first I saw that somebody posted a tweet from Dominic DeAngelis. If you don't know who that is, it's funny because he's somebody who's had to, not funny, it's just uncomfortable. He's had to defend himself and be like, hey, you guys are coming at me because my name is Dom and you think that I'm dirty Dom, and that's not me. Dominic DeAngelis, I know him from Reality House. I was saying, like, he's got like a little bit of douchiness to him, but he's kind of like I called him like the Charlie Day of YouTube. He's not that bad. But he said, so I wish that I could find it quickly for you guys, but I don't know that I can grab these screenshots as fast as I would love to. But he said something about how, like, you're just one of the worst people on this platform. And then Megan Ranks was like, yep. And then Trisha was like, oh, and like, it's just like, oh my God, you are making so many enemies on this platform. You're getting to the point where you're eliminating everyone but yourself. And like, I know that you think that you like can speak up and like speak loud and proud, and you're defending yourself, and that you think that with the help of your stands, you're really going to take everyone down. This might be why she takes down small channels, is because these big creators are very vocal about not liking her. And it's just like you're creating a platform of one here soon. But yeah, it was funny. Thank you, Sajak, for posting the tweet from Nikocado Avocado. Nikocado Avocado, who turns on the troll 100% of the time, can't take seriously, spitting facts. If you guys haven't seen this, they brought this to my patrons brought this to my attention. Sajak, thank you for posting this in the channel again. Nikocado says, Gabbie, humble yourself. Rolling eyes emoji. You know how many people talk crap on me each day? Entire channels dedicated to criticizing me 24/7, but I keep going. Meanwhile, you've uploaded 0 videos for 3 months straight. No work ethic, no consistency, no content, just a broken record of grunts and groans. Eye rolling emoji again. And I just think, how tactful was he in putting that? Like, he really like told her who she is without stooping to the levels that she stoops to. Scroll up in Discord for screenshots. I don't know if I need the others just yet, but let's see. I don't know if I should scroll up further beyond that and basically a podcast, or if I need to go back over to the other channel where we were talking about this stuff. I know that you guys are showing me the Oscar Wilde stuff. Not 100% positive I'm going to have time to talk about that. I don't see a lot of things loading, and I don't want to hold up the podcast. I want to get through the notes and the emails, and then maybe we'll talk about that Oscar Wilde stuff. Yeah, I've already talked about the whole neurodivergency thing and neurotypicality thing where she's using that as, I call it a cop-out. It's a cop-out. It's not your place to be like, ugh, these neurotypicals, when you don't know that. You don't know everybody's medical history. You don't know everybody's diagnoses. You don't know everybody. People don't even know all their issues. So like, just don't. Let's see. Yeah, I noted that she was calling others abusive while she was being highly abusive. And that she sent her the book out of nowhere. Yeah, I also made a note of how she was saying like this is out of nowhere, but she's healthy now, and I'm just like, this is just not healthy behavior. I think anybody who has any concept of what's healthy can say like, this is not healthy. This is not standing up for yourself. This is being mean. This is being a bully. This is being all the things that you accuse everybody else of being. Isn't that funny how that works out? And some people seem like they're just talking into a damn mirror. That's Gabbie Hanna, if it's nobody else. So just going to read through quickly some of these emails about this. Somebody said, I was scrolling TikTok as one mindlessly does. Gabbie Hanna has announced she is back, bitches. Oh yeah, I saw that one. Then a few hours later, she came for BB Rex's film clip claiming how similar it is to hers. It's gone to Twitter, but I don't have that platform just in case it gets taken down in the drama. Screen recorded the post. Thank you for screen recording that. Yeah, we saw that. I think, and a few people also suspect that the whole BB Rexa thing just didn't take. We've got this theory, and I think it's just a theory at this point, and Gabbie has every right to try to prove us wrong, right? But it seems like she drums up drama from time to time. And it seems to go hand in hand with whenever she has music, right? When she's got music coming out. But either way, she made a joke last year. Tana Mojo said something like, I need to get in a scandal. Or who should I get in? I want to get into a scandal or something like that. And she said, can it be with me? My views are down. So it does seem cyclical, like every now and then. And for the past while Gabbie Hanna has been, in my opinion, acting a fool by herself, and like I said, displaying some very concerning behavior, it in and of itself was not interesting enough for anybody to talk about. It just was not. For somebody who wants to claim I'm so interesting by myself, nobody's talking about you. And when nobody's talking about you, that's when you start something with someone. So I don't buy this. I'm not starting drama stuff. The BB Rexa stuff did not take. Some people were like, yeah, it kind of looks like the video. Some people were like, nope, that's not original enough. And that's all that anybody had to say about it. So that didn't take, and so it seemed like she really had to come up with something else. So she really amped it up. She really amped it up because the stuff with Rachel, let's be honest, doesn't run that deep. It really isn't that deep. Somebody else said, hello, in response to your tweet, I would love to hear about the drama Gabbie Hanna is in right now. Yep. Feel really anxious seeing it all go down on Instagram. The energy I got from Gabbie was really vindictive. It's hard for me to empathize at this point. I get maybe she doesn't see what Rachel said as criticism. I would probably see it as more as bullying if it was about me. Fair. Thank you for bringing that up. But I feel like you can see it in Gabbie Hanna's face, how eager she is to weaponize her online power and cause Rachel harm, seeing no problem with saying incredibly disturbing things about her and to her. It reminded me of what you went through last summer, and I just feel mega ick for Rachel Oates currently. Anyways, I'll be tuning in either way, probably in the playback. Thanks for the content. Well, if you're watching in the playback, hey to you. I don't know if I should say people's names, but hey to you. And thank you for that comment. And I think it's totally valid to say, oh no, my screen looks black. Am I here? Like I said, I think it's totally valid to say like, hey, this hurt my feelings. Let me see. Things look frozen for me. One of my mods is typing. Oh, I see. Now you guys have recently posted the tweets. I see Dominic D'Angelo said Gabbie Hanna is top 3 worst human beings I've met in LA. I think that just needs to be said. Oh, Evangelina's non-binary. I so apologize if I'm using the wrong pronouns for them. So apologize. So apologize. Okay, so I saw the one from Dom and I saw the one from Nick. And I see myself in the stream and I see you guys typing. Yay! I'm side-eyeing Mr. Jimmy Snow too. I don't think he handled this perfectly. I think that he probably meant well, but I think he dipped out. I think he was rude to Rachel that night, and he didn't continue to be a good friend to anyone after that. And that's how I feel. But yeah, I think to this person's email, I think it's a good point, saying like, hey, that would feel like bullying to me. That's fine. Criticism feels that way to a lot of people. It does. It shouldn't, but when somebody, it's just in our, it's innate in our neurology for most of us. For when somebody gives us criticism, like I said, when I take it as a punch. When it's valid, it hurts, but it's what you do with it. And I agree with this email that it seemed like Gabbie Hanna wanted to tap into whatever power she has online to really kind of stick it to Rachel and get back at her. I was told last summer not to talk about Gabbie Hanna again. That is exactly what she wants. That's exactly what she wants, in my opinion. I don't know, I'm not her, but I believe that she wants, especially with these smaller channels, because it's easier, right? It's much easier to mobilize your fan base and have them go attack a smaller channel and really just make that person crumble than it is for you to go for a creator that's bigger than you, right? Or a creator that's of just a sizable platform. It's just not as possible. So it's like, please tell me what's the difference between that and a bully? A person abusing their power to try to make somebody smaller than them crumble. That's a bully. You can't tell me otherwise. So yes, I agree. She could have very well said, these are my feelings when they are valid, but that is not how she handled it. I don't know if there's any other emails regarding this. Somebody said, hey, Alicia, how are you? I'm actually pretty good right now. Thank you for asking. Not sure if you heard, but Rachel Oates' Instagram got mass reported by Gabbie Hanna fans. Yep. All because of Rachel's review on her recent poetry book. It's just sad. You may want to talk about this on your podcast today as well. Hopefully you can. Thanks and all the best. Yeah, that's really sad. I saw that. Rachel was just saying like she's very sad because, she's got she likes having her Instagram there. It's got a lot of photos of her dog that she loves, and her Instagram got mass reported, and like Rachel's squeaky clean, so that's an abuse of that system. So let's see. Before we go, I'm going to take a look at what my patrons are saying. Look at that Oscar Wilde stuff. Let's see what was going on with that. I have no idea what any of it is about. So I'm trying to remember. Oscar Wilde was somebody who was involved with the Jeffree Star Trisha stuff. Oh no, I'm scrolling up and I'm not seeing. Okay, let's see. Go back. Okay, so there are some. It looks like there are some of these DMs. Gosh, why are they so tiny on Discord? So it says, oh, these are tweets. So somebody said, Oscar Wilde says, this girl has brought me into this for simply liking a tweet. Then when extending comfort and any type of empathy, she tells me to publicly apologize amongst an entire novel of my wrongdoings from simply liking one tweet. I cannot. Trying to blast me for blocking her. What the fuck? And I'm scrolling in and it shows the conversations. it's kind of cut off at the beginning. He says, spoken to Nick in a bit, nor anyone for that matter, because I've been working on myself and just getting back into music, and I tend to shut everyone out. People are being insensitive, and I totally noticed that as well. I've always had my friendship extended to you and will always, because you have always seemed to be a genuine person to me. So yeah, if you do need to chat or need a friend, that door is always open. LOL, just don't think that I hate you or anything. I just agreed with his point. I wasn't aware of the entirety of the conversation. Hope you feel better. Music sounds great, and I hope you continue to concentrate on that. You're very good at it. And she said, thanks for apologizing. You could say, oh my God, Gabbie. She loves to tell people what to say publicly when, like, clearly you cannot handle a public platform. You don't know what to say publicly. She said that she has told me what to say publicly. She's told Deanna, that fan, what to say publicly. She has told, was it in the Trisha and the Gabbie situation, telling Gabbie what to, like, stop. You could say that publicly since you publicly supported my abusers. It would be nice if people stopped DMing something privately, blah, 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 blah. Others when you see them mistreated by the masses. He says, I definitely did not apologize and still agree with his point. I didn't even owe you what I sent you, but you seem to be going through difficult times, and I was attempting to be a bigger person and extend comfort and friendship. Best wishes. And she says, and then another part of the conversation, she says, otherwise, I guess I'm just confused at the point of the DM in the first place if you didn't actually want to extend comfort and friendship or chat. He said, this may work on other people, but I'm not the one. Oh, D. So that's the first tweet. So I think the others were the conversations. She said, or he said, yo, I don't want no issues. LOL, I just agreed with this point, blah, 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 and extended. Thanks for apologizing. DMing me privately to correct the thing they've been saying publicly. That's what has been happening with my exploitation since 2000. That's what's been happening with my exploitation since 2018. It's pretty horrendous. Otherwise, I appreciate the gesture, but it's a bit empty if action doesn't follow. It's important to stand up for others when you see them being bullshit, Gabbie. And I'll tell you why it's bullshit. It's because you're the one who's the queen of, we deal with things privately. I called Alex James a terrible person on a podcast very publicly, and I tried to call him, and I called a wrong number or texted a wrong number, and the wrong number told me it was a wrong number, and I still decided to ignore that and pretend that I was trying to talk to that person to extend an apology. But I didn't say anything publicly, which would have been the right thing to do because the gesture is empty otherwise. Always comes back full circle. Yeah, I mean, it looks like that's more or less what these conversations are saying. Just like, wow, what a bullshitter, dude. What a bullshitter. And then Sajak told me she went on an IG tirade about him anonymously, so he exposed the DMs himself. Got it. She was pissed he didn't apologize. He disagreed with her and then blocked her when she acted like an asshole. Sounds like that's on brand. Was there anything else that I missed? She called him performative. That's happened to me before. It's such bullshit. People love these buzzwords. We need a bingo card. Seriously. Miss Free Britney BLM Bad Baby Feminism is calling someone performative. Don't forget Lil Nas X. There's more too. All these people that she pretends to be advocating for, but really she's talking about herself in code. All right. I don't know if I got all of you guys' tags. I'm going to check the chat to see if there are any chats that I've missed there. Yeah. This is just a mess. It's a shit show. And at this point, I'm just gonna let you guys know from my perspective, if we have nothing else. Let me pull the chat up and my stream up again so I can see my beautiful face and your beautiful chats. There you go. Oh yeah, yes, Ashley, the Stan's got her Instagram taken down. Yep. I mean, she was like, I expect it to be. She was very mature about it. She was like, I expect it to be back up soon, but It's just sad. I have these pictures backed up, but I like to be able to see the timeline of, and of course we all do. But um, the Oscar Wilde, the author, is deceased. Yeah, it's this guy. I guess he makes music or something like that. I'm such a boomer. I want the H3 soundboard. Okay, boomer. um, but yeah, Gabbie Hanna's creating a huge mess for herself. This it has to not be easy for her, and I feel like she's probably on the other end of this, punching and punching and kicking and screaming and trying so hard to be big before she goes down. Right? We're probably going to see another crash. Somebody asked earlier if there's any sort of cycle to this, and um, and I do see somewhat of a cycle, but it gets worse every time. So I do see this crashing and then her kind of disappearing for a little while or whatever, or this supporting music or something like that. But this almost feels a little bit like Enough Part 2. So what happened last year looks like it's happening again. It's like it used to be fall and winter for her, and now it's seeming to be like spring, summer for her, which sucks because it's supposed to be her time to shine. Alistair, you're so good to me. Gabbie is a bully, plain and simple. Her so-called fans are like her gang who group up to go after someone. They do. They do. They totally do. And that's not every fan. 100%. There are fans out there of Gabbie Hanna that are just good, decent people who don't engage in that behavior. But if you and I are talking about the same people, we're talking about the stands who do the mass reporting on an account that is not in any sort of violation of terms and conditions just because they don't like her. We are talking about the people who come for me and say things like you're shaking in your boots and just try to incite terror in people. We are talking about the fans who spent 11 hours on me. They did the same thing to Jen. Don't know how much time they spent on her. 11 hours signing me up for spam email accounts and stuff like doxing Amber, and just like there's like it's such bad behavior, dude. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I think that Gabbie's done a lot of really cheap things to get ahead. We've got video of her in an interview saying that it's all about the money. It's all about amassing an audience of young, moldable minds, and because that's what brands like, for you to be working with. And I'm so sorry, I keep hitting my mic. She's said that she's had to stay on her grind every day because it's all about getting that coin, baby. And I said this about Shane Dawson. I've said this about a few people. Gabbie Hanna has sold her soul to the devil. And when I say that, I'm not talking about like in a literal sense. I'm not talking about anything religious. I am just saying that when I say that, I've said this before, but I'll say it again here. When I say that, I'm talking about somebody really taking shortcuts. Like when people clickbait, that's a small example of somebody selling their soul. When you take these shortcuts to try to be successful, to get ahead, when you trick people into watching your music videos instead of actually just actually Peter Mon talked about this when she was going off on these commenters on TikTok, and she was just like responding to every single mean comment. And I love what Peter said so much. He was like, Gabbie, what are you doing? Like, you're a new music artist, and this is not a good look. You are trying to pressure and trick and bully people into listening to your music instead of just making the good music and allowing them to come to it naturally and decide if they like it or not. You're putting and you're bullying the people who could be your potential audience. Tour that you look up to, like Lady Gaga, she doesn't do that shit. He said, he was like, they don't do that shit. He said, you know what? You know who could afford to do something like that? And he said, Beyonce. Beyonce could afford to do that, and she doesn't. So what does that tell you? It's all such bad form. She's cutting so many corners. She's inciting drama. She's drumming up drama. I don't think that this is due to neurodivergent shit, because it's not that is saying something very negative about those who are neurodivergent. That is saying that like this behavior of calling people fucking weirdo, manipulative, narcissistic bitches is behavior of neurodivergency, and it's not. And saying that your poems are just for the neurodivergent and that neurodivergent people will get it, that's not necessarily true either. Because I've had people on my Patreon say I'm neurodivergent and I don't understand her poetry either. So these are all these cop outs, all of this drama you're drumming up, all of this name calling and these like power moves. You're going to lose your power. You're losing your power. You can tell that you're losing your power because you started with 6 million and now you can't reach 100,000. And now you've got big name verified accounts on Twitter, like kind of expressing their disdain with you. And so that was all kind of getting to a point where I just think that I'm going to see some backlash for this for sure. But just like last summer when she nearly ruined me by sending her fans after me, which isn't it kind of funny? Think about this for a second. This only kind of occurred to me very recently. She and her fans knew who I was before any of that happened. We talked about she and I both agreed that we only talked for like 2 or 3 days. And in those live streams where she sent her fans after me, remember she said to Irene, should I just say who it is? And Irene goes, I think maybe not. And that's funny to me because it's like, well, say who it is in what way? Like, can you just say my name and everybody knows who you're talking about? Were you talking about sending my handle? But here's the thing. She accidentally said Alicia, and everybody knew who that meant. And all of her fans were in the chat going, she tweeted. Alicia, she's tweeted. helloleesh tweeted. So they knew who I was well before Gabbie and I had that interaction. She's trying so hard to take people down. And people who really like mean well and have looked after me and wanted me to be well have advised me not to talk about her. And while I understand the sentiment and I appreciate the love so much, it's not going to happen. If it means that this is going to be difficult for me, so be it. But here she is talking about how she's not going to be silenced. She's not going to be bullied into like all these things that she said. I can't let her do that to me. And so whatever storm is coming my way, it will not be the first time that I've dealt with it before. And motherfuckers, I have the resources very clear and stand very firm and be very clear and saying that I do recognize that this is going to piss some people off. Even just the fact that I have a thumbnail that has her name in it. Oh my God. But these things need to be said, and I'm not going to stop saying them. So I'm very much pissed off about this situation, and particularly the language she decided to use against Rachel. And it's very upsetting. It's so upsetting that it gave me a bad panic attack last night. So Liliana, you preach it. You preach it, girl. Here you go. I played mod for a second. There you go, Erica. Or I'm trying. I feel like somebody else, another moderator, just handled this. So yeah, I kind of just I've talked out, like, those aren't all of my thoughts on this. Obviously, you guys know that I could talk about Gabbie Hanna because I know too much about the situation. It's gotten so complex that I could talk ad nauseum about this stuff. It's not because I'm obsessed. It's because I've had too much involvement with her and her fans. And something needs to change. So if you have it in you, I say keep fighting the fight, as in like don't fight people, but stand firm in these beliefs and stand firm in holding creators accountable to handle their platform responsibly. We talked about the Black Lives Matter movement, the Free Britney and Lil Nas X, all of this. And what I said personally is that I don't need all of my influencers to be advocates. So like the performance activism and the virtue signaling, I don't need that from Gabbie Hanna. I just need you not to be destructive with your platform. That's it. That's bare minimum. Because if you're being If you're performatively acting or acting, advocating, being an activist, but you're being destructive with your platform, then like it's a net negative in my opinion. So just be net neutral, at least net neutral to net positive. That's all that you really have to do as a creator with owning a platform. You don't have to do everything perfectly. Net positive is all we want out of you. Net neutral is the bare minimum. And you can't do that. You haven't been able to do that, Gabbie Hanna. So what do we do? Help me help you. Because your fans are not doing much to help you. They're just trying to get your attention by being even more awful than you're being. Whew, that was a lot. Melissa, you let me have it today. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love getting a chance to dress up for you guys. My friend is going to be at trivia for another hour, so I might go meet up with him real quick. He goes by himself. I have one high school friend that's nearby. He's one of my best friends from high school, and he goes to trivia nearby. So, yep. Yeah, Rachel makes a good point. Join the Patreon for more spicy nugget power. Yeah, you do see a different, not a different side of me, but you see more of this, like these true raw emotions from me. We say it basically a podcast, and I've got so many of my YouTube mods here. These are the people that you see with the blue wrenches. For the most part, those are my patrons who have been active in our Patreon community for 6 months or more. They get the blue wrench if they want it. And so, of course, not all of them are here, but a good bit of them are. And they will tell you every single time that we want you guys. Like, if you're going to join and be a dick, I mean, we're going to ask you to leave. But I've said this before. I'm going to continue saying it. I need to make sure that I am promoting this stuff because it is great. It is a wonderful place. I've found it to help me get through a lot of times. I've had people reach out to me and tell them it gets them through a lot of times. Other times it's just good fun. But I've said before, I'll say it again. We were nervous at first, wondering if the Patreon was going to lose its magic the more it grew, and we started to find that the more it grew, the more magical it became. I have Leah, Ashley, Sajak, Bridget, Elle, Blue, Jamie. Everybody is speaking out on this. All these patrons, because it really is a wonderful place. Join if it's something that you're curious about. I'm not going to get my feelings hurt if you join for a month and it's not for you. I get it. Some people are just like, this place isn't for me, or I don't use these features or whatever, but check it out. We have a book club. We also have a weekly spirit club, which is where we talk about religious issues, and it's for people on all ends of the spectrum of spirituality and religion everywhere. We all kind of just discuss ideology and really kind of break things down. I love that so much. And we also do weekly Patreon lives. I give you guys access to videos if I get them up early enough, and I will follow you on social. So we are constantly coming up with more. There's a regular book club. There's also a Harry Potter book club. So we're coming up with new things as we come up with ideas that I can manage with my schedule. So it's a lot of fun. Does Patreon have an app? Yes, they do. But I will say that most of the activity that goes on Patreon happens in the Discord. So you don't necessarily need to download the app. You can go to patreon.com/helloleesh, sign up, and then I will send you a link to the Discord. That's where all the fun really, really happens. But yeah. And as Leah just said, if you can't afford Patreon, basically a podcast happens every Tuesday at this time. Now it's 8:12 here, but at 6:00 on Tuesdays, and it looks so far to be working well. So I plan to continue to do it. You don't have to pay me money in order to be connected to me. You have basically a podcast where this is a conversation, and you have my email is open, hello@helloleesh.com. That's, if you want to interact with me, if you want to support me, you can hit the like button. I often forget to ask you guys to do that. You can hit the thumbs up on this video. It really does help. All the chatting you guys have done, that helps a ton. Just giving your thoughts. It's amazing because you guys get to talk about what you think, and it helps me too. And yeah, of course, subscribing to the channel if you like me, but I feel like people already do that, right? Like, do you guys really need somebody to tell you to subscribe? It's like, if you want to subscribe, you're going to do it. But people have told me I forget if you don't tell me. So if you've forgotten, then subscribe. Always trust the pickle. Yeah, the pickles. This pickle is very pure. I live in the Discord now. Me too, Bridget. Especially when I don't have anything else going on. I'm like, yep, I'm good. I'm entertained for however long I need to be, and it's always active. All right, guys. I think I might go meet up with my friend for 30 minutes of trivia or so. I do have a PayPal. I think it's paypal.me/helloleesh. I have had somebody ask me to give that information so that they could send me like a tip. You can. It's definitely not something that I would ask for. But I'm helloleesh everywhere. So. All right, guys. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for just sitting and watching, or even not watching, or just listening in the background. Again, I want to say, because I really did go hard on Gabbie Hanna. If you're a fan of Gabbie Hanna and you've been listening in and you've been respectful this whole time, thank you so much. You're really important. And to the 600, I was going to say 638, but a few people have noticed the tone and are dropping off. To the 625 of you who are watching, who are not me, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for letting me have this opportunity to get this all off my chest. We can continue the conversation. If you have more that you want to add, go ahead and leave it in the comments. Shoot me an email. If we have to talk about this again, we'll talk about this again. If it's still going on, we can talk about it next week. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk about what speaks to us. But for now, I love you, dude. I love you so much, dude. I do. You guys make me feel a lot better with some of the shit that goes down on the internet. All right. You'll see. You're right, Bridget. You'll see me in the next one. So I love you guys. Bye. This was so much fun. Thanks. I got it all off my chest. Bye.